Hey YouTube, seeknayr here, and I hope you're excited because I have some M14 spoilers. The first thing I'm going to show you is a cycle of creatures, which I really like. Each color has a hate of like different color or colors. First one here is Fiendslayer Paladin. For 1 and double white, it's a human knight creature. 2/2 with first strike and lifelink. And it can't be the target of black or red spells your opponents control. Blue has a Merfolk Wizard 2/2 for double blue. It's called Tidebinder Mage. When it enters the battlefield, tap target red or green creature your opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Tidebinder Mage. So really nice. Black has Lifebane Zombie, which same as the Paladin, it's double, its colors double black and one generic. It's a zombie warrior with Intimidate. It's a 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a green or white creature from it and exile that card. And red has Mindsparker, which is for 1 and double red. It's a elemental 3/2 with first strike. Whenever an opponent casts a white or blue instant sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to that player. And my personal favorite, in green we have Witch Stalker, which is a 3/3 hexproof in 1 and double green. Whenever an opponent casts a blue or black spell during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Witch Stalker. So it gets bigger, and it has hexproof, so it's harder to kill. So, really big fan of that guy. Starting off in white, we have a Mythic Angel, Archangel of Thune. For 3 and double white, it's a 3/4 flying lifelink creature. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So, white has a lot of good utility life gain cards, which I like. Next is a Mythic spell, Devout Invocation, for 6 and a white. It's a sorcery. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield for each creature tapped this way. So late game, it's sort of comparable to Entreat the Angels in a way, sort of, but nice big white spell. Moving on to blue. Blue has a similar costing cast to Devout Invocation. It's called Dismiss into Dream. It's 6 and a blue enchantment. Each creature your opponent controls is an illusion in addition to its other types, and whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. So it's really sweet. And a reprint from Guild Pact, I believe, is Quicken for 1 blue. It's a instant. The next sorcery spell you play this turn can be played as though you could play an instant, so it has flash pretty much, and then you draw a card. I'm always a fan of little white spells that say draw a card and have an added effect onto them. Next is a counter spell called Spell Blast for X and a blue. It's a instant. Counter target spell with convert mana cost X. This can be compared to Syncopate, which counters target spell unless they pay X, then it gets exiled. So, which do you guys think is better? I'm still a fan of Syncopate, actually. Next is the Mythic Sphinx in blue. It's called Windreader Sphinx for 5 and double blue, 7 total. It is flying. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, you may draw a card, and it's a 3/7. I like this because there's a card that says flyers are 1 cheaper to cast. Also, there's an enchantment that gives your creatures flying, so lots of card draw, very comparable to Consecrated Sphinx, which was from Mirrodin Besieged. Next is Doomblade, but this time it's coming at uncommon, so in limited it's gonna be harder to pick up. So if you're drafting M14 and you see Doomblade, you should probably grab that. So nice solid removal. Next is Black's big mythic spell. It's a sorcery for 7 and double black, 9 altogether. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. I'd say it's a little bit too hefty for constructed or limited, so nice EDH card though. I could see this rolling in Shieldred decks, possibly. Next was a card that I was excited when I first saw it. It's called Shadowborn Apostle. It's a human cleric, 1/1 for 1 black. A deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostle, so it's like a newer Relentless Rats. For a black, sacrifice 6 creature named Shadowborn Apostle, search your library for a demon creature card and put that onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Too bad Grizzlebrand rotated, because he would have been really sweet and standard with this card, I think. And a card that goes well with that is obviously Shadowborn Demon for 3 and double black. It's a mythic creature demon with flying. It's 5/6. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-demon creature. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are fewer than 6 creature cards in your graveyard, sacrifice a creature. So that second ability goes well with the Apostles. Next is a 3-card combo which I'm a fan of. It involves Bogbrew Witch, which is 3 and a black, human wizard creature 1/3. You 2 and tap it to search for your library for a card named Festering Newt or Bubbling Cauldron. Put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. So it's nice that it searches for your other 2 combo pieces. Bubbling Cauldron is a artifact for 2. It has 1 and tap, sacrifice a creature, you gain 4 life, or 1 and tap it, sacrifice a creature named Festering Newt. Each opponent loses 4 life, you gain life equal to the life lost this way. And Festering Newts for 1 black, it's a Salamander 1/1 creature. When it dies, target creature and opponent control gets -1/-1 until end of turn. But that creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn if you control a creature named Bogbrew Witch. So very similar to the Empire's cycle from, I think it was M12. This should be really fun in a limited format if you're maybe able to get all 3, which is possible. Next I'm going to be going over Chandra Pyromancer, which is the new Chandra Planeswalker, for 2 and double red, starting at 4 loyalty. Her +1 deals 1 damage to target player and 1 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. That creature can't block this turn. And her 0/0 ability is exile the top card of your library you may play at this turn. People have been saying that her 0 ability is like a draw card, but it's not, because you exile it, and if you don't play it that turn, it goes into exile. And her -7, exile the top 10 cards of your library, choose an instant or sorcery card exiled this way, and copy it 3 times. You may cast the copies without paying their mana costs. So that could be good if you get the right cards in those 10, but otherwise, well, she's definitely better than Chandra Blaze, but I'd still prefer Chandra the Firebrand in my opinion. Next is called Dragon Egg, which is pretty much another version of Rock Egg, which is for 2 and a red. It's a Defender 0/2. When it dies, you put a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. It has a red. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So when it dies, you get a 2/2 dragon with flying and fire breathing. So really sweet card. And red's mythic is Scourge of Valkas for 2 and triple red, 5 total. It's a flyer for 4/4 with 4 power, 4 toughness. When it or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. So once that dragon egg hatches, comboed with Scourge of Valkas, you're going to be dealing some damage. Next is a green card for 1. It's an instant, and it's called Fog. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. I think Fog should be in every single core set, because it's just a card that always sees play no matter what format you're in, as long as it's legal. You can even leave the green open in like a limited draft and just make them think that you have fog even if you don't have fog. And of course they switch up the art, which I like. This time we have the duo. The one dude's holding the bat with a knife or a blade, and the other dude has like a spear type thing. So love fog. Wish it could be in every single core set. Next is probably my favorite card in this set. It's green's enchantment. It's called Primeval Bounty. For 5 and a green, it's an enchantment at Mythic. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Or whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you can gain 3 life. So whatever you're doing, it's going to benefit you in some way, which I really like. I'll be testing that out in Standard, actually. Next is an artifact called Darksteel Ingot. For 3, it's an artifact. It's indestructible, and it can tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So, fixing for the slivers. Next is a reprint from Lorwyn. It's Door of Destinies. For 4, it's an artifact. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on Door of Destinies. Creatures you control of the chosen type gets +1/+1 for each counter on Door of Destinies. So in limited, it's used for slivers, but I'm a big fan of tribal decks, so I'll be throwing that into a few of mine. Next is the buy a box promo, Ratchet Bomb. For 2, you can tap it to put a charge counter on Ratchet Bomb, or you can tap it, sacrifice it to destroy each non-land permanent with convert mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Ratchet Bomb. So it's a utility artifact, probably going to see play in sideboards in Standard. There are only 3 non-basic lands, so I'll just go over them. First is Mutavault. Tap to add 1 to your pool, or 1 becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until end of turn. It's still a land. Encroaching Wastes. Tap to add 1 to your pool, or 4 to tap it, sacrifice it to destroy target non-basic land. You can see some play in EDH. And the last card I'm going to go over is Shimmering Grotto. This is pretty much more land fixing for the slivers. It's a reprint from Innistrad. It can tap to add 1 colorless to your pool, or you can tap it and tap 1 colorless to add 1 color of any mana to your pool. Yeah, so that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the spoilers. There will be, if you want to see the whole list, I'll put a link down to MTG Salvation down below. And until next time, have a great day, YouTube.